action. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Everybody loves the idea about going out west and hunting antelope or mule deer, but especially elk. And until you're 6 miles deep into the middle of nowhere, you are completely out of breath. You're cramping because you're carrying 80 pounds on your back. And then you realize that you left something back in the truck.
So today we are going to break down and talk about those big mistakes that rookie hunters make that could absolutely ruin a hunt.
So Marty has hunted Colorado, Wyoming, Montana for over 20 years. And today he's sharing everything he wishes he knew on that very first hunt out west.
So let's get right into it.
This right here is the No Idea Podcast with your hosts, the Sturgis brothers, two guys from northern Wisconsin talking hunting, fishing, and outdoor equipment. So crack a bush latte, kick back, and enjoy the show. No Idea.
What's up, everybody? That was a good one, wasn't it?
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. You want to try it?
No.
Just try it. Just do it. Do it in Marty style. Like, what's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back to another episode here on the No Idea YouTube podcast. We're talking about hunting and outdoors, and especially our lead up to our elk hunt.
So today we've got a special guest, Marty. This is Marty right here. Marty is my neighbor. Lays his bed about 200 feet across the street there.
That's weird.
Have
you measured that?
Weird.
Have you measured that?
That's creepy. It's really creepy.
Marty's been hunting out west since the early 90s. He's hunted elk, mule deer in Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, you name it.
All right. So, Marty, thanks so much for taking your time out, coming on with us. Before we dive into everything, just give us a quick background on how Western hunting became a part of your life or your journey through elk hunting or just out west hunting in general.
No.
Now.
Okay. Well, I always grew up with a bunch of guys that enjoyed hunting together and enjoyed hunting in the Midwest. We have always wanted to go out west. My buddies, some of them now live out west, and and they've always had relatives who've had big ranches out there. So we've had our way in to hunting some pretty decent land for deer, and eventually got into more of the elk hunting and antelope hunting and whatever else we could find out there, turkeys. And
so basically the biggest hurdle to going out west hunting is having the connections, and you just so happen to have the connections first, right?
The connections were big.
So that kind of expanded the whole journey from you said antelope. We got antelope. There's a picture here of mule deer, right?
Yeah. Turkeys. We've hunted multiple states for turkeys, hunted multiple states for mule deer. I mainly do a lot of bow hunting. I haven't done a lot of gun hunting.
Okay.
But, all over, Wyoming is one of my favorite places to hunt.
Yep.
But Colorado, now I even just like going out with my buddies and just helping them harvest whatever.
Okay.
And so I'm not necessarily going out there every year and hunting. We found that sometimes hunting out there is pretty darn expensive, and we're all very competitive. We all want to get something.
Yeah, and help each other.
And we all help each other, right?
So you go out there on years you don't draw tags, right, and help your buddies?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
How in the hell do you get to do that? Like, how do you get your wife to say yes to that?
She's pretty understanding, I guess.
Do you get
Michelle is awesome. Michelle is
I know Michelle.
Awesome.
Does your daughter and wife, do they love venison?
They do, yeah, and we cook it often.
Okay, so when you go out, you don't have a tag.
Yep.
And you go out and help. Do you kind of like throw it all in a big pot and split it up evenly, or I mean, is it worth your time? Like, I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I just like being out west, roaming around and seeing the sights. you never know what you're gonna end up running into out there. It's an adventure every time you go out.
Awesome. So take us back that first hunt. Do you remember it? What, kind of summarize your first hunt.
I still remember it. It was a long time ago. It was 1990. I was just kind of getting out of college. Not to date myself very much, but it just did. But anyway, we all went out there. We loaded up into a Nissan Pathfinder pickup truck, 3 guys, all excited, rambled right straight through, made it to the middle of Montana, and started hunting.
Was your first hunt in the mountains, or was it more on plains?
It was more on the plains.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I remember that hunt because we took my mom and dad's camper, and Montana roads, Wyoming roads, Colorado roads are unforgiving.
Yeah.
So
they're kind of roads, but they're not really roads.
they're just a lot of real big rocks. And we went through about 3 tires and on the camper, humming down Highway 200, not knowing that the tire was flat. Sparks were flying all over the place.
Jesus. That's awesome.
And usually during that time of the year, it's they're running cattle all over the place. So you got cattle trucks flying down the road. So when you have a flat tire, there isn't much of a shoulder.
No.
On Highway 200.
And they have those, I don't know what those grates are to prevent cattle, because they're open range,
Right.
and they can just go, but they put the
cattle
grates on.
crossings come flying through there.
Yeah, when you hit one of those. I can't imagine hitting one of those with a flat tire on a camper.
It's not good.
When you got out west, whether it was antelope, mule deer, or even think about your first elk hunt, what surprised you the most?
How big and vast the out west is.
Yeah.
I remember we were hunting and kind of hunting public land, and these guys were pushing cattle on some horses, and they came riding by, and they were talking to us a little bit, and we asked them, well, is there a ranch that we can hunt? And he said, oh yeah, just go over there and hunt that ranch over there. And we said, okay. And so our next question was, if we drive, how far can we drive on the ranch before we get to the end of the property? And he said, you can't get to the end of the property in one day of driving. So a lot of those early years, we didn't do we were pretty green. We were from the Midwest. Didn't really know what we were doing.
Yeah.
We had no idea.
No idea.
Hey, there
Ooh,
we go.
nice job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm kind of excited to. I've been out in Wyoming and stuff, but it's been pretty flat. But when you talk to people who are kind of more in the mountains and stuff, they'll be glassing, and they'll be like, oh yeah, they're over there, over that ridge. Well, that's 2.5 miles, right?
That way.
And
Right.
that way.
Right.
And you're hoofing it. So
I mean, and that's the thing that
And you don't know how many ditches you got in between.
yeah.
that you can't see. It looks flat,
Right.
But, and that's one of the things I think, the biggest, I'm starting to realize now after talking to a few people, we go up northern Wisconsin County Forest, and we think we covered ground, in a day, and it's and we'll have walked a couple miles, and it's God, we covered every square inch of this place, and it's we can't comprehend how just massive it is.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom. And, nowadays they've made things a lot easier with GPS mapping and everything else.
Onyx, all that good. Yeah.
Back in the day, we were just going for it.
By sight. So did you, again, Flatlanders, and I don't even know what elevation we are. We're under 1,000, aren't we?
I think
or something
so.
like that.
Yeah, it's not high.
Did you were you surprised by the physical challenge, or did you maybe underestimate the physical challenge? Did you go out thinking, oh, I'm a built guy, I can do this?
Definitely. I mean, definitely. I remember our first Colorado elk hunt, and it was a bow hunt out on the divide, and so we were climbing above tree line.
Yeah.
Because it was 90, 100 degrees out, and it was 90 to 100 degrees out at tree line. So the elk were really high, so you had to go really high too.
Oh man.
And it was pretty nuts.
Yes, we're at about 400 feet.
Oh, nice.
That's,
Yeah. We'll be hunting.
Tree line's higher than that.
Yeah, we'll be hunting around. I thought he said like about 7,000 to 8,000.
Yeah.
somewhere
which,
around there.
which he's like,
isn't
he's like, that's not a big deal. But I'm kind of like,
no, but the oxygen and the breathing really starts to come into play about 8,000 on up. That's when it. I mean, it's still for us. It might take a day or so to acclimate, but it's not going to. Probably won't have to worry as heavily on the altitude sickness at 7,000 as you would with 10,000 or something.
yeah.
Right.
So when you go back to that, like, first, do you remember the first time you harvested an elk?
Have you, Marty? Have you
Have you-
harvested an
have
elk?
you,
Or
Marty?
is this all just bullshit?
Yeah.
I have never harvested an elk.
Okay.
I have missed a lot of elk.
But
Okay.
when you've helped, I assume you've helped a buddy
Yeah.
haul one out.
Last year we shot a 6x6. And
So, okay, how many pounds are we talking?
lots.
Lots. Okay. Can you describe the mental toughness it's going to take Adam to pack out an elk?
Well, that hind quarter is very heavy.
That's all you.
And that's all I got. I mean, we didn't have a real long pack out of there, but any pack is really a lot.
Yeah. So you get. So basically, what you're saying, what I hear you saying is, there's no words to describe, like how
You're gonna work really hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so that's one thing that you got to consider also is that you got to get that thing out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to know somewhat of your limits, but
Yeah.
but that's something that you got to do too. Is you got to go for it sometimes and
Just gotta have it in your head.
right. You're gonna get it out of there no matter what.
Why my mental toughness?
I don't
Why
know.
not?
I just felt that sounded really good.
I think Adam will be fine.
He will.
Outside of my so-called mental toughness or anything like that, but you know, one of the things we're trying to do as we prepare for this trip is just to be able to prepare to control what we can control and make sure that we have all those things squared away. So what we're really looking for is that magical advice of like the biggest mistake that first time elk hunters or hunters out west make and what we can do to avoid that. So whether it's, again, two flatlanders from the Midwest, everybody's thinking cheese curds and, you know, beer. So that we've already been told you guys need to get into shape. You know, and the boots, the footwear is kind of the big thing, but I mean, echo those if that's the thing, but is there anything else that comes to mind that is like, you make sure you either avoid doing this or do this, or don't buy into this? Because that can just lead to mistakes.
I would say it's like gimmicky stuff, you know, like oh you gotta get this thing or this special thing, but yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of that gimmicky stuff, but I think the biggest thing is that people need to do is to be really good with your hunting weapon and to be able to know what it can or cannot do.
okay, that's good.
That's
so
really good.
So what do you hunt with when you go out there? For let's just say for sake of conversation, like elk hunt. But you said you were mostly archer.
I'm mostly an archer. When I have gone elk hunting, I use my 7mm.
Okay, 7mm. So you're saying like, hey, you got to be able to stalk hunt, I assume, right? Stalk hunt. And you got to be able to hurry up, get it off your shoulder, right? After you just crested this ridge,
Yep.
right? And you're out of breath.
Right.
And now you got to hurry up, and if you have a tripod or if you use your pack as a stand or whatever,
Yeah,
You
you have to be able to shoot from a prone position, a half kneeling position, and I would advise to try them all.
Okay.
when you're out shooting at the range or whatever.
well, that's awesome that you say that, because Scott Keene, who's letting us go hunt with him, he said the biggest mistake, or no, it wasn't the mistake. It was what's the one thing you need to do? And he's like, or no, it was the biggest mistake. He was like, people who show up and they haven't really shot their gun very much.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. Just a quick story. A friend of mine, he had a rifle hunt out west, and he was with a guide. And the guide was on his last day, and the guide grabbed him, and he said, "We're going." And then they found the elk, and the elk were heading down the mountain, and they were running through all these trees, and things were hitting him in the face. He's trying to keep up, and the guide actually grabbed his gun and was running without him, and so he's trying to catch his gun.
Yeah.
And he finally catches up to the guide, and he says, "Can you shoot him?" And I looked, and he's like, "Oh, that's pretty far away yet." And so they ended up going again, and he's out of breath, and they ended up getting that elk. But he said it was the craziest story in the world.
You can't, and that's probably, even that is probably really hard to prepare for.
Yeah. Oh,
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to go out to the range and run around the range and then shoot your rifle, I don't think.
You could.
Why not?
You could. You look like friggin' the weirdest person ever, and you might not be allowed back to the range. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
So sorry, Adam.
Go ahead.
You can talk about the boots next, but I have one follow-up question. And the follow-up question is so when you have hunted elk or mule deer with a rifle, what's your limitation on distance? Like what is the that's pushing it?
With a bow, I usually practice out to 70.
70. Nice. What about rifle?
I try to keep myself within 200 or 250.
Yeah, that's about what we were thinking. Maybe 400. We want to practice 400. We're going to have a guest on later on that, is going to be really, will help us with that, both in the podcast, but then take us out shooting and stuff. But
I just don't practice that.
Yeah. Well, around here, it's kind of hard to find
difficult,
them.
too.
Yeah.
Picture that we're going out. So we're going to have a base camp with our truck, sidewall tent, all that kind of stuff. And then we're just taking day trips. We're not going to do any smaller overnights with that. So just thinking a medium pack, day pack. What are the essentials? So what should we avoid to avoid overpacking for just a simple day trip?
Well, I think you have to be kind of prepared for almost everything, right? But
So
you
is there a such thing as overpacking or no?
Well, I think that you have to be kind of realistic because you never know what the weather's going to do. It's going to change in a second.
Yeah.
We've had it where we've been out there on Memorial Day weekend and it was 90 degrees one day. The next day we got 14 inches of snow. And so it's and when it blows in the mountains, it can get cold in a hurry.
Yeah. And he told us, he's like, prepare for 80 degrees and -8 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, so that got us thinking like, well, shit, the license is the cheapest thing of this whole hunt. When you started
Absolutely. I mean,
when we've compiled a list, and we're like, damn, this is gonna be
But so here's my thing. This goes back to the Flatlander, Midwesterner, Wisconsin, sitting in a ladder stand for trying to sit it out for 8 hours in 15 degrees and flurries.
right.
In northern Wisconsin. We're dressing differently than if you're in 15 degrees in the mountains and walking
And if you
9
get
miles.
cold, you
Correct.
just get up and
you
start
walk.
moving.
Correct.
Right.
So I mean, it's layers,
Yeah.
layers, and then, but thin and packable enough where they're not going to be big and bulky.
Right. And, I think that merino wool is always good. It stands up. It doesn't stink as much. And You're going to wear it multiple days.
That's going to be a big issue.
Well, you're going to stink.
That's going to be a big issue. But it's with
He just stinks no matter what.
Yeah.
He just
I wake up in the morning and shower,
But
and an
now,
hour later, it's like,
you don't worry about it. You just play the wind. And
Yeah.
You play the thermals
Yeah.
and you play whatever.
so. And this will be a good segue to gear, I guess. Then is let's start talking about gear. Let's start talking about those layers. You mentioned merino wool, but the one thing I'm gathering too as we go through this is mobility is huge. Like, I think putting on, getting ready for the gun deer hunt and just how little mobility you have. It's just like you're setting up for something in your tree stand with a rest. But it, like, even just being able to move your hips, knees, all that kind of stuff, the mobility seems huge. So, when we talk, let's talk layers. We talk merino wool as those kind of base layers. You've talked zip off stuff. That's huge. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the zip off maybe brands or anything that you really like?
Well, I personally have the, like, I don't know what they are, 125 weight Kuiu zip offs for the under layer. And then the kilns, which is the middle weight, first light. And then the furnace is the heaviest weight, the 350s.
Okay. And then your outer shells, are you thinking the guy we're going with is huge on wool. And I'm assuming it's more of that fleece wool, that blended wool. Yeah. And because that's quiet. And that stuff's pretty light, actually.
It's really light.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's and it blocks the wind. It's, water repellent for the most part and everything else. A lot of times what we'll even take is the cheap Cabela's rain gear, and it fits into 2 gunny sacks that are about that big, and you can stuff them in there. If you get some rain, you can toss them on quick, and it's easy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, really quick. What's the most overrated piece of gear that you see people either bring with them or you see like YouTube channels saying, you gotta have this and it's overrated? We've been researching binoculars and they're like, hey, you need 10 by 40 something, or you need 10 by 52. But as you keep going up, the shakes, and then you need to buy a monopod, and then you got to do that. Or if you do, I mean, just when
I just have a pair of 10 by 40s.
Okay.
That are, I cried once and I bought them from Shields, and, but, there's a lot of good glass out there, and Vortex makes nice binoculars also. And I think
they're Wisconsin.
And they're Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know.
And, I've always said that you just, the best glass you can afford is probably what you should get.
And
when I was out early on, back in the 90s, we just had a pair of Jasons, and the eye fatigue right away is, you have a hard time looking through the glass all day long.
Okay, so maybe not so much overrated, but what's the one piece of gear that would be underrated, where people don't really put much thought into, but when you get out there, you're like, oh shit. Is it the wall? Is it the, is it the, the optics on your rifle? Is it
your sleeping bag? Is it your boots? Is
Yeah,
it your
boots.
Your hat?
Well, they all can be.
I suppose you could. Yeah, I
Right.
suppose you could.
I mean, if you get the wrong weather or whatever, and you have that sitting in the worst piece of equipment is the one that's sitting back in the truck that you want.
There you go. That's awesome. I love that. I love that answer. I love that.
So what would you say would be based on your experience, because you have now bought certain things, which is the one that you're like, you cannot skimp on this?
I think the wool is hard. First Light makes great wool. Kuiu is pretty darn good too. Sitka is obviously really good, but you gotta have money.
Okay, so here's piggybacking off of that. We haven't done this yet. We're rookies. Okay. Adam and I have this laundry list of shit that we need to buy, right? And I'm looking at this, and I'm adding this stuff up, and I'm like, oh, where do I start? Question for you: what should beginners like Adam and I spend our money on first, knowing that okay, we basically have our rifles figured out for the most part. Yeah, what would you say?
I mean, you probably already have the camping gear, and you probably already have the sleeping bags, and you have a lot of that stuff. You know, you've got a lot of things that you use in Wisconsin that can work out there. Right?
Tip-ups? Beaver Dam tip-ups?
Tip-ups might work,
Just
depending on where you're hunting. I don't know.
Just throwing it out there.
Eskimo
Maybe a
850?
Frozen
Let's
basin
go.
or something.
But I think that, you know, all of us have the insulated bibs. Well, if you take the insulated bibs out there, you're not going to be very happy unless you're at camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trekking poles?
Trekking poles are great.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do a shooting stick with it? Well, I suppose you're bow hunting more, but you know how
But I have both the shooting sticks and then the regular one
the monopod shooting stick
yeah.
that acts as a trekking pole too.
kind of
Okay.
thing, yeah. I mean, trekking poles really come into effect when you get one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you're just more stable and everything else.
What all right, trekking poles. I like that.
What water filtration? Do you risk it, or do you just?
What is it called? Beaver fever?
Yeah, you don't want the beaver fever.
Trichinosis, beaver fever.
That's another thing that you should bring is some allergy medicine.
Yeah, bring your EpiPens so you're not bit by a bee when
It's
it's
just
80
honeybees.
degrees.
It's honeybees.
Oh, okay. That's easy.
I will. Yes, my Zyrtec. I will bring my Zyrtec. That's, okay.
And you don't want to have the trots.
Yeah.
They'll make it for a long one. Do you take bear spray where you go?
We take bear spray. Yeah,
Yep.
we deal with more cats than anything.
Okay. Do you do sidearm, like concealed
don't.
carry? You don't? Okay.
But my buddy always has a 10 mm on him.
Are you afraid of sidearms?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think?
No, I usually either have a weapon or the bear spray.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. So,
Do you think my Jackery will power a CPAP for overnight?
I do know. No matter what,
I don't know if I want to talk about your Jackery.
I do know that could keep the grizzlies away.
Or attractive? One of the
Yeah,
two.
that too. It could be like a freaking taco in a sleeping bag. Shit.
All right. Are we missing anything from segment 3, Aaron?
No. Oh, yeah. That's what I was thinking about. Okay, so big debate between Adam and I. We're trying to figure this out. So I have my boots. He thinks he has his boots that he's buying.
Yeah.
And we were told, hey, prepare for 80 degrees or -8 degrees. Well, that right there, just saying that is about $1,000 in boots.
Yeah.
So our questions, and we were talking about this, is like, well, if it's 20 degrees out and we're hoofing it 6 to 8 miles and we got wool socks.
Yeah. I don't think you need insulated boots.
Okay, between like a 2 to 4 to even like maybe a 600-gram boot, is that going to make a difference between what we have?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I also think it's part of our the Midwestern flatteners. It's like 400 grams is to us is like that's not insulated.
No.
1,000
We're
grams.
like,
You need
it's
the
either
900
1,000 or
or
not.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going out to my tree stand and it's 15 degrees out and I need 1,200 grams.
But you're going to sit there all day.
yeah, because
400.
you're going to sit there today.
Yeah. So it's basically
Okay.
all or nothing. And forecasting, you know, are you 3 days out and is the forecast out there accurate? Or, you know, you said one day it could be, you could have 75 and sunny and humid. And then the next day,
I think it depends on the mountain range you're in because the mountain range that you're in can stir up its own weather.
okay, that's not forecastable. I mean, like you can't look at their 48-hour forecast and be like, oh,
I think it's so hit and miss. A lot of times storms just blow up. we a lot of times when we go out for elk hunts, we're bivvying out for 3-4 days or whatever, and we'll look at the forecast, and if it looks like rain, well, then we'll plan on it, but we won't like set our day around it.
Yeah.
So
And they're forecasting such a big area.
yeah, you mentioned GPS. The Verizon commercial told me that I'll get cell service out there because the map shows it. But will I?
You looked that up.
Well, no, I just
everywhere
watched a
that
Verizon commercial on TV, and that was the red in the area. The map had red in the area that we're going to be.
Sometimes you have to look for it a little bit, but usually if you can get high enough, you can usually find it.
All right. Okay. So here's a question. What lesson, when you think about your 20-some years of experience, what lesson took you years to learn? Or better yet, when you watch everything from I don't know, the Meat Eater and all these shows on YouTube, that supposedly prepares hunters for hunting this. What lesson took years for you to say, oh, shit, now I learned this?
Well, I think that you're always learning out there because
always learning.
It's always a new adventure, and it's always something new or something weird is going to happen every time.
Yeah.
So you always have to be prepared for that. I think the biggest lesson is to be patient.
Yeah.
Patience and glassing and looking as hard as you can, and then look some more. And
that is awesome.
And the other thing is that elk are where elk are. They could be there one day. They could be there gone the next one.
Dude, that was good.
That was deep.
Contrary to what your wife says, that was really good.
Has there ever been an instance, maybe it's a pack out, maybe it's just, have you ever just wanted to quit? And I know pack outs are, difficult, but have you ever just wanted to quit?
Pack outs are great. I mean, you're successful, you're fired up. Yeah, it's hard work, but boy, you know that you're going down and you're probably gonna have a beer.
Yeah.
So
But it's the 5th day of a 7-day hunt, and you're like, oh shit, this is not gonna.
There are days when you got to take off.
Yeah.
And either take a town day or do something different, and I mean that's when camp might get a little unruly, and everybody's kind of getting on each other's nerves maybe a little bit. Not you guys.
No, we won't.
Hey,
we won't.
So a question. This is not on the script. Super random. When's the last time you've been to Montana?
Last year.
Do they have pull tabs in Montana?
I'm sure they do. We got a lot of things.
I'm planning a day. You said you got to take a day.
Might even have strip clubs. I'm not sure.
I got to edit this. Hold on. I got vodka.
Oh, sorry.
Or no, that was awesome. Okay, here's the question. What keeps, bringing you back to this? Even though, whether you have a tag, you drew for a tag, or you don't have a tag, what keeps bringing you back? What is it about elk country that has gotten into your blood that you're like, man, I need to do a week and a half, or however long to do this?
And Scott touched on this, because we said, this is a once in a lifetime hunt. And he's like, yeah, you say that now.
Yeah, right.
And you're going to be back. So what is it? What is it about elk hunting that does that?
Well, it's just trying to accomplish and trying to survive out in the wild and try to outgame one of the largest animals that are out west.
Yeah.
And when you hear one bugle, you're going to be back.
Dude, that's exactly what Scott said.
Yeah. Is it, you think about and you've done a lot of different types of hunting, but anything from turning a goose, calling, seeing them turn and come in.
Yeah.
bucks grunting during during
Turkey
the rut
hunting,
thing.
having them call
Yeah.
back to you. It's the vocalization. It's the interaction between the game that kinda brings you back.
And that's what I'm excited for. We've both been out west. We've both experienced it. I'm just excited for that, to catch whatever that is, whether it's sitting on a hillside overlooking, just glassing and just feeling almost, this is going to sound super cheesy, but like almost like insignificant, like just realizing how massive this entire thing is and just being a part of it. And then, yes, you're working towards something, but the ultimate goal is to harvest. But being there, and only people that have been there will understand that even without a harvest, there's a certain level of success that we will feel.
And I always get the satisfaction of knowing that, boy, I'm like one of the few people that have stood on this piece of property.
Yeah.
I mean, you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And there aren't a lot of people. Well, there are a lot of people that do hunt, but there are probably not a lot of people that have walked the same ground.
Yep. Chances of someone stepping on the same ground you're on. Last segment, we do this with every guest. It's called, it's called rapid fire. Okay. You ready for this? You can't. Now, Marty, you like to stop and pause and think, but you can't on this one. Okay. You got to go fast. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Rifle or bow for the first trip?
Bow.
Guided or on your own?
On your own.
Best beginner elk state?
Colorado.
Favorite camp meal?
Ooh.
We had quesadillas out in Colorado that the ranch mom had cooked for us.
Oh, nice.
And brought it right to the tent.
Was it venison?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, man. All right.
That's amazing. Okay, your favorite memory from out west hunting?
I think cowboy coffee and listening to
Elk bugle?
well,
You're drinking coffee?
cowboy coffee.
Cowboy coffee? Elk?
Yeah, you're right. That's not my favorite. My favorite is last year finding that elk.
Okay.
Did you guys like celebrate at that? Was there like a big like?
Yeah, it was just like crazy because we had been looking for him. He shot him late at night, or not late at night, but coming into dusk.
Yeah.
And so we let him lay overnight, and then the next morning we looked for like 6 hours, and then finally found him.
Oh, man. What do you have like a worst out west hunting moment?
There isn't a worst.
Okay. Never worse. All right.
So this last question, it's not going to be as rapid fire, but like you're going to be good for this question because you'll pause and you're going to give us something great.
Yes. Big
What's
wisdom from Marty.
One thing every rookie out west hunter, whether it's elk, mule deer,
Antelope.
what's one thing every rookie needs to hear?
It's not about getting the animal. It's about enjoying the hunt.
That's awesome. Marty, that was freaking awesome, dude. That was you probably are the best guest we've ever had on our podcast.
Oh, come on.
We say that every time. But honestly, I
Like Bush.
honestly, I think you probably saved us and a lot of those who are listening today from learning some of the lessons the hard way and the expensive way.
What I loved about this, Marty, is that, if you've ever dreamed about hunting out west, I feel like this episode will give you a real picture of what it actually takes.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the No Idea YouTube channel, both on Facebook, but then on podcasts. Wherever you listen to your podcasts, make sure you subscribe and let us know your biggest elk hunting fear that you might have as well. Okay.
Good talk.
See you out there.
No